Okay, it's been a little while since I've done a video. I just wanted to make one of the garden right quick, starting it. The tomatoes here, we put them up under the Leyland cypress. Take a little piece, plant the tomato, and then it's just a piece of Leyland cypress. I have a big roll of them up there, so we just cut a little piece off and shade them, and that'll harden them off. Because if you put them out here just straight on, the sun will just burn them up. So give them a little bit of shade, and usually they do pretty good after a couple of days of pulling that off. And then we have some cabbage and broccoli. We still have some iceberg lettuce up there very far in. And we've got our grow bag system going again. We've got tomatoes in it. I'll show you here in a minute and show you how I got those two poles holding it. But I hadn't got my watering system down here yet, but I've got to get it out and get it going. But we've got 2 rolls of potatoes. We have a roll there and there. We put them in, the eyes wasn't too big on the potatoes, so they may not come up. I may have to replant, but I got plenty of potatoes to do it with. I bought a 50-pound bag, and I may have used 10 pounds out of it to get enough eyes. And then I just tilled the rest of that. The rest of it's just some old collard greens that we had planted in the garden. It's just little pieces of green stuff there. But we got to get it finished up. I got to get my watering system going here. I just got some hose pipes right now going out to our little scarecrows. The scarecrows are good about keeping the deer out, because if I didn't have them, deer would be in here eating everything. They just, when a deer comes along and it senses one, it'll take and go off and spray water for 2 to 3 seconds, and then it'll cut right back off, so you don't really lose that much water. I only cut the faucets up about halfway. At the first little burst will be loud, but then it'll kind of go a little bit slower, and then by the time it cuts off, it'll build pressure again, and when it first goes off, it'll scare them. So, but there's our grow bags. We got our tomatoes in there. They're standing up really good today. Yesterday they were a little bit weak and kind of easing over. We've had a little bit of wind today, so they're doing pretty good. And what I did is I took and put some of these T-posts in the edges here and drove them in, and I took a piece of wire and went in and wired all of the cages. Well, in the end I ran out of wire, so I got to run and get some of it and finish it up. But this way the cages are hooked to that wire, so they can't fall over. And then if they outgrow these cages, I can go back. I left it high enough to go back up here, and I can tie, a couple more strings on or something in here and run down through there and have them run up in between them 2 strings. So, and like I say, the watering system's down inside this. If you hadn't seen other videos on it, I've got other videos, so you can go back and see how we put it in. But the valve and all, I checked it last night. Got everything filled up. It cut off when it should. So the T-post, if you buy them at Tractor Supply and you buy a 5-pack, you get a set of clips free. Usually they have a trash can sitting on the door when you come back into the store. There'll be a bucket of them there. And if you buy a whole 5-pack, you get a set of clips free. I get them because on the fence down there sometimes, like on the pig pen, I don't know if you'll be able to tell it, but there's a T-post on the pig pen down there. Alright, well, I'll take y'all down there and show y'all that. But there's the iceberg lettuce, and then we've got some carrots. I don't know how they're going to do right here behind the faucet, yard hydrant. I don't know how they'll do. That's a kind of a sandy soil right in there, so hopefully they'll live and do okay. And we went ahead and you can see the topsoil over yonder that we took and brought out here, which is compost, but it turns into a really good topsoil. We use all the goat's waste, the chicken's waste, and all the extra hay that they don't eat. And I usually let it sit there for about 3 years before I'll bring it and put it in the garden. Sometimes 2 years. That way it's been through enough of cycles to kill all the stuff out in the hay that may be in there, any weeds or anything. But I mean, you're gonna have weeds in your garden anyway. So, but there it is. We got started on the garden this year. I put out a bunch more apple trees last year. They're doing good. The blueberries are doing good. They bloomed out. The peach trees, I had to cover those. But we'll walk down here to the goats pen, and I'll show you what I've been up to down there. I thought I'd stop here at the chickens. These girls here have started laying. I've got 2 of them laying right now. I got rid of 2 of the roosters, but I still have one over on this side. He will be a brother and sister to these, so I can't keep him around. I'll keep the daddy over here, and I'm going to get rid of him. He'll either go to somebody's home for a price, or either he'll go and we'll can him. So one of the two. But I've got 5 girls over here. These 3 that are standing right here at the front. And the one that's at the watering pail there, and the one that's coming around the water pail. All those are going, all 5 of them, and all I'll have is Rhode Island Reds and the barred rocks. So, all right, well, I'll take you down here. Well, let's just walk down here. Hopefully it won't shake too bad. The goats, as you can see right there, you can see her milk sack on her. She's getting ready to kid here within probably another week or 2. She's one that she's actually this one's daughter. We call her Snowflake. So we're gonna get her. She's been rubbing her face on something and got a little mark on it. But we're gonna take her and probably here in just a little bit and start putting her in the second pen that's here. And we'll put her in this pen and let her go ahead and kid out. And that way the other ones won't bother her and her kids. I've got a little spot there for water to put one of those little stainless steel buckets there, or little pans there, and put on there for water. But what we did is we added fence down to the pig pen. As you can see, it goes all the way to the pig pen now. So it goes all the way to that far corner, and then it goes all the way up to this far corner. So they have a really large pen now. I mean, it'll cut them off, but I can walk them through there, you know, take her and put her up inside there and lock her in with her kid once I do. She does kid. And then I can take the other ones and let them walk out here and leave them during the day. But what we did is I just went ahead and put a 8-foot gate down here so that I could take my tractor in. And I can still get my dad's tractor into the pig pen. I'm waiting for it to kind of clear up. You can see how it's got some of the little puddles. Right before I took her to the butcher, she dug a bunch of little holes. So I got to get in there once it gets dry, and I'm going to get a layer of dirt and dump over the sides here. And I'll take my dad's little tractor. It'll go through that 4-foot gate and get in there and spread it around. But I've got to get it up inside there in their little pen in there. I've got to get it leveled back out, and I'm going to divide that where that. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a board right in the center there. I'm going to take and come off of it and make that into 2 pens and put doors that open to the inside. That way I'll have 2 more pens that I can breed, and I'll have places to put the girls. And then I'm going to just take that feeder there and pick it up and pull it out. It'll probably destroy it, but get it all pulled out, because I got 3-foot pieces of bar drove in there holding it in the front and the back on each side. So there's 4 bars all together in there holding it. But the cement pad I can leave for their water, and I'll put a new pan in there, a new bucket. I want something short and round like it's there, because if you put a 5-gallon bucket and they kid, and the kids go out there, they'll go in head first, just like a kid of your own, a little baby would, and flip off in there, and they can't get their heads out, and they can't push themselves out, so they drown. So you try to keep a pretty good size, round pen, a pan, and kind of not too deep. And if it is deep, you just don't put as much water in it. And if the kid gets off in there, they can use their front legs to hold themselves up and kick back out. But you can see the T-post. This is the little clips I was talking about you get for free. So you get a pack of those. And the pack's almost $5 for the pack of them. So if you're buying, like if I'd have knew it, I'd have just bought 2 more posts and got a thing of clips free, and I would have almost got the post for 1 post free. But you can see Sneezy's off down in here. They'll come down here during the day, just they hadn't really got used to it being open down here. A lot of times they'll come down here when we're standing down here. But I just took some of this real small fencing. I wished I would have had enough of this kind of fence here that's a little thicker and got the gate's fine, because when they rub, they'll rub on the bars mostly, so they don't really rub. I just didn't want them to stick their head through and cut and pull their heads back, because I keep horns on mine. So that's the reason I just used some little small gate, keep them from putting their head through, and I cut a pretty good size hole here for hooking the chain up to hold the gate. But on the ends of these posts here, I take a bolt and run a bolt kind of at an angle all the way into somewhere right in here. And I just drill a small hole here to hide the bolt. So it's all put in there with screws and bolts, or big long wood lag screws is what. So it's all done. We'll get in here, and it won't be long till we'll be able to. I'm probably going to build another pen right in there somewhere, right up in that spot, and probably put something like a rabbit, put all my rabbits in it. I built my cages for it. I'll get some video of it and put up. But I just used some wire that I had from the chicken pen up there, that 1x2, and built some rabbit cages. Still got a little more work to do on them, but it won't be long till I'll have at least 5 good bunny cages and one that's a little smaller, but I think it'll be okay. Or rabbit cages, I'd say, because they're going to be eating rabbits. So, well, I'll try to get some more videos done. It's just kind of hard. The post, when I did these two pens, the two pens are not parallel to each other, so the fence did bow a little bit, but it's not too bad. And then in that corner up there, it wasn't as wide. The pig pen was wider than the goat, so I just went in there and put a corner post and ran back to the other one. So we're good on that. If any of y'all have any questions on any of this stuff, just let me know. Y'all have a good one.